We're at 542 North Las Palmas Avenue, Los Angeles, California, performing a video sewer inspection from the 4-inch main line cleanout on the right-hand side of the house, just in the backyard. The 4-inch line is a clay sewer line, primarily. We've got a small section of about 20 feet of ABS plastic that's been replaced. Got some root intrusion, offsets, and separations in both the 4-inch and the 6-inch sewer lines. I'm going to pull back and show the condition. This right here is the city sewer, and we're pulling back now into the saddle area. This area has some root intrusions off to the left, as you can see, and it's got some separations. You see the gap at the top, right in the top left corner. You got a little bit of a gap, and you can see the gap at the top even. It's offset right here. This area is offset. You can see where it's holding water, and it's got a gap of about a good 1.5 inches, maybe even 2 inches right there. And then you got another one. You can see the face of the pipe off to the top right-hand corner, where you've got a crack in the piping. It's shifted and just cracked. You've got about a good 1.5 to 2 inch gap there as well. Next joint, you got a little bit of shifting, a little bit of root intrusion, but not bad. Good majority of the joints in the 6-inch from here back are not that bad. This had some roots in it. You can see the remnants at the bottom. Had a little bit of separation. The roots are just filling up the separation. That joint's not too bad. This joint's got some heavier root intrusion on the right especially. That joint's not bad. That joint looks pretty good. That joint looks okay. That joint looks pretty tight and pretty good as well. And that joint as well looks pretty good. That joint looks decent. Now we're going to be pulling back, coming back toward the 4-inch. We're holding water right here. We got some root intrusion at the bottom that's holding back water. You got a little bit of a gap right here. You got about 1 inch separation in this joint. And you got a separation in that joint as well. And we're coming back up. This is shifted just a little bit, but not bad. This is the 4-inch. Now we're coming back into the 4-inch. We're going to stop right here, and we're going to mark the 4-inch. Run back out one time to the city sewer. Just going to clean the camera head off. Pull back to the 4 to 6 inch connection at about 77 feet. So we're out about 107 feet to the city sewer from the clean out in the back. Trying to rinse that camera head off a little bit again. We've got some debris on the camera head, making it difficult for us to see. Better. back and mark this 4 to 6 inch connection at 77 feet. Okay, we've marked the 6-inch by 4-inch connection is about 6 foot 4 inches deep, right at the sidewalk area. And a piece of that sidewalk may need to come up to tie into this area, because we're right underneath the sidewalk with this joint, and this is the connection. Now we're in the 4-inch clay line. That joint's just separated a little bit, not bad. Might be a 1/2 inch separation, but not terrible. That joint had a little bit of root intrusion, appears to have been cleaned recently. It does have a crack if you look right around the bottom, right where the hub is. There's 2 lines, where the hub is and then back about a 1/2 inch. You see where it's cracked almost all the way around the pipe. That joint looks pretty decent. That joint's just got a little bit of root intrusion, not terrible. That joint's broken. You can see where there's a big crack and a break. There's a whole piece right there that's broken and can settle. You got water leaking through the pipe, and you got some root intrusion you can see toward the top left. This section is cracked and broken, and if that piece pops out, then you have some serious issues. You can't really clean it properly, and eventually it will pop out because there's nothing to support it and it washes out. That joint's not terrible. That joint's got a little bit of root intrusion all the way around. Not that bad either. That joint's got some root intrusion. It's got about a 1/2 inch separation in the pipe. That joint had a little bit of root intrusion, but not terrible. This got a little bit more root intrusion in this joint. And it's got a crack off to the right. You can see where the roots are growing through the joint right there. Then we pull back a little bit and you see the roots are growing right through the pipe where it's cracked. And this joint's got some separation and had pretty heavy root intrusion before it was cleaned out. This joint has some pretty heavy root intrusion. Roots are pretty large coming through that area. And you got another joint that has some pretty heavy root intrusion. The roots are getting pretty large there as well. And here you got a pretty good offset. You see where it's holding water. You see the face of the pipe all the way around where it's shifting. You had some pretty heavy root intrusion there as well. And then we transition right here to plastic. There's a section of plastic right here somebody has installed. This is all plastic. And we transition back to clay right here. We're transitioning back to clay right here. That doesn't look terrible. Looks okay. We had some clay and then we had some ABS. Now we're back to clay again. We got a little bit of shifting in the pipe here, probably just where it was attached. Then we have some offset here, has intrusions in that joint. And we have a break around the pipe, a crack, where you see the lighter colored clay. But not terrible, not that heavy. That joint doesn't look bad. That joint had some pretty good heavy root intrusion at one time. That joint has some root intrusion and separation. That joint's not too bad. It's got a little bit of separation. Making a turn, coming back. And we have pretty good offset here. In this section, you see where the whole face of the pipe and is holding water back. Pipe shifting. And this section too as well. Intrusion, and that's offset quite a bit. pulling back up through the clean out. And that concludes the video sewer inspection.